What's good, y'all? And welcome back to another episode of the Hurls and Smallz show. Coming to you after Monday Night Football, where Daniel Jones just has Smallz a little down, man. Smallz, man, how you doing? Talk to the people, man. Talk to the people.
Hey man, this game starts right Monday Night Football. The Yankees are on, the Heat are on, so I'm not fully locked in at first because those are my two favorite teams in the other sports. The Yanks fucking suck. Aaron Judge, you're my favorite player in the league. You're playing like you got a potato for a brain. Luckily, the Heat played the Pistons, and Cade's like my favorite point guard favorite point guard in basketball, but he ain't got no help. So the Heat won. But if the Heat would have lost, it would have been a bad night for Brady. It would have been a really bad night for Brady. Luckily, we got a decent little Monday Night Football game. I had Malik Neighbors in fantasy in like 3 leagues. And he was the reason I lost in one because I was playing against him.
Yeah. That's the worst.
Najee Harris. It was really Najee Harris. But Daniel Jones is terrible. He's just terrible. I don't want to see him anymore. And I'm a big Daniel Jones guy. I have rooted for him pretty much his whole career. I'm a big Duke basketball guy. Have been my whole life, especially with Justice Winslow. So him coming from there kind of gave me a little bit of a love towards him. He playing with Saquon, one of my favorite players. Dude stinks. He stinks. But the team stinks too, and they're going to get Dable fired. And Dable doesn't deserve to get fired because he is an elite coach. And I know I over-exaggerate a lot on here and saying very good. He is an elite coach, one of the best in football. I don't care what anybody says. And he just doesn't have talent. And he's making these third... How are you doing, brother?
I'm a little tired. We were talking about it earlier. I got, we're recording this at midnight. I got to be up early tomorrow again, just getting off of work. But, it's not going to stop us from having another decent episode. Niners won this past weekend, so I'm doing all right. But
you got my boy slaving over there.
Yeah. As far as that, doing pretty good. Halloween coming up. What comes before Halloween, somebody's turning,
So when this comes out,
Jordan year.
This comes out on a Tuesday. So wait 24 hours and wish my boy happy birthday. He turning 47.
I'm turning 23 on Wednesday, not 47, but yeah, man. So sorry, I'm just not a kid and not turning what? Would you turn 18 this year or something? But we can get into the overreactions from this weekend. I was texting you earlier in the day, like I literally I had to go to the bathroom at work, sit in a stall, and just try to look at the games and come up with some stuff because I had nothing. I usually do this before I go to work on Mondays, and I come up with everything. I take all down all my notes from the games and stuff like that, anything I'm missing. But I just couldn't think of anything, so I went to work and I was like, fuck it, I'll just deal with it later. And I was sitting there in the stall, and so I came up with everything.
But he's gonna be rushed.
I wouldn't say they're rushed, but it's just
Lamar Jackson is the best quarterback in football.
Definitely not my best work. Since you brought up Lamar Jackson, we can start with his team.
Oh no.
They lost this weekend to Jameis Winston and the Cleveland Browns. The Ravens lost to the Browns. Cost them the AFC North title. Pittsburgh moves to what are they now? 6-2 after a win on Monday Night Football. The Ravens fall to 5-3. The Steelers always beat the Ravens at least once. Always at least once. So they already got. We'll chalk up a win to them against the Ravens. They're already one game ahead in the division.
No, we're not.
We're giving them a game against the Ravens, and they're already one game ahead. So go ahead. The floor is yours. The floor is yours.
No, absolutely not. The Ravens are going to win their division. The Ravens are going to be a top seed in the AFC. The Steelers, the wheels will fall. I don't know. I don't know if the Texans will be better than them. The Chiefs will probably be better than them. So they'll be a top 4 because they'll win their division. But whether they're 2 or 3, I don't know.
Okay.
However, the Steelers will probably be a playoff team. As much as I would rather see the Bengals make it than them, especially since they benched Justin Fields, and I don't want to watch Russell Wilson even though he looks great.
He's balling. He's balling.
Great,
he's balling, man. He is balling. But all right, we can move on to your other favorite team's division. The NFC North. Early on in the season, a lot of people were saying this division could have 4 playoff teams. Some people were saying 3. But I'm saying the NFC North will only get 2 playoff teams. Where the Lions and somebody else, the Vikings coming off of 2 losses in a row.
The Vikings again.
Vikings coming off of 2 losses in a row. The Bears lose a heartbreaker Hail Mary to the Commanders. Packers have been looking good. They get a win when Malik Willis fills in for Jordan Love getting hurt. And the Lions are just whooping on everybody. So the NFC North only gets 2 playoff teams.
The Lions are the best team in the NFC.
The best team in football.
The Lions are the best team in the NFC. And the Packers will make the playoffs.
Uh-huh.
And the Vikings will make the playoffs.
So this is
I want the Bears too. No, probably not. But in my heart, I'm not going to let my heart say that there's only going to be 2 because that means Jordan Love misses the playoffs. And I don't want Jordan Love to miss the playoffs. And I don't want Roschon Johnson to miss the playoffs.
Okay, so if you had to pick 2 teams to make the playoffs right now from the NFC North,
you know the answer.
The Vikings
you know the answer.
I'm just asking. Okay.
There's not a corner in the league that can guard Justin Jefferson. As long as a secondary man steps up, whether that's Hawk once he's back or Jordan Addison once he stops saying free 3, we're going to be all right.
Okay. It's probably my hottest one of this week. It's probably going to get shot down immediately. A rookie quarterback you weren't too fond of coming in. You've turned on him a little bit lately. Has his team 2 games over 500 currently. They probably won't win the division because there's a team in their division that's undefeated, 7-0.
Mm-hmm.
But the Denver Broncos sit at 5-3, second in the AFC West. Bo Nix will be the only rookie quarterback to win a playoff game this year. I said it was my hottest one. It's probably going to get shot down immediately, but they're overreactions for a reason.
So Bo Nix got to either beat Lamar, Bo Nix got to beat CJ Stroud.
I think who they have next season.
Yeah, Mahomes.
Not next season, next week. The Ravens and Broncos. But Stroud, Mahomes, yeah.
No, they're not winning a playoff game. Their defense is cool and their offense has improved steadily, but if they make the playoffs, I'm not guaranteeing they make it.
I think they'll be.
They'd get thrashed.
They got the Ravens next week, and I don't want to jump too far ahead, but the Ravens could be on upset watch next weekend. Their secondary is horrid. Bo Nix is looking better and better. So I wouldn't be surprised if
Troy Franklin still can't catch.
I wouldn't be surprised if Bo Nix came in there and put up some points on the board against the Ravens. And who knows? If you put up some points, anything can happen.
Please take them.
We'll get there when we get there.
You taking the Broncos or the Bengals?
Like
in a playoff game.
Right now, the Broncos.
When the playoffs come, would you take the Broncos or the Bengals in a playoff game?
Well, I'm not going to answer that because one of my overreactions is the Bengals season is over.
So we can get into that thing. Go ahead and say it again.
The Bengals season is over.
I think you silly. Very silly.
Okay. This for a team that was supposed to be able to put up... Go ahead.
I had a quote of Joe Burrow once. I was going to say it once we got to the game, but it's perfect time to say it now. He says they're 3-5, right? And 10 wins usually makes the playoffs. So they got to win 7 of their next 9. And he said that's very doable. And if Joe Burrow believes, he has to believe. It's his job to believe.
Yep.
But if Joe Burrow in his heart truly believes they can win 7 of their next 9, who am I to tell him he's wrong? I believe Joe Burrow is a top 3 quarterback in the league.
So if Daniel Jones says he's the best quarterback in the league, who are you to tell him he's wrong? Is that what you're saying? Just because he's in the NFL, who are you?
Absolutely not.
So why does it? Okay, continue.
Because Joe Burrow has talent and Daniel Jones doesn't.
Continue.
Burrow.
Okay.
Joe Burrow is a. Daniel Jones. Not too much on Daniel Jones, bro. I'm upset with him, but it's still my guy. So we're gonna chill out. Even though Drew Lock should be getting that job real soon. No, the Bengals the season is not over. Whether that means they make the playoffs or not, I think they will continue to be competent and competitive, which means I believe that still means their season is in play. They're not like the Raiders whose season is over or the Jaguars whose season is over.
They have the Raiders next week, then the Ravens, Chargers, Steelers, Cowboys, Browns, Broncos, Steelers to close out the season. So,
Your ass go too fast for me to even comprehend.
They got Ravens, Chargers, Steelers, Cowboys, 4 out of the next 5. That's a tough.
So they can beat the Cowboys, the Steelers, and the Raiders. So they win 3 of their next 4, and they're 6-6. Then who laughing?
Oh, okay. Okay. Speaking of teams being done, my last one. The Cowboys are done.
Oh, they're terrible, bro.
Are done.
They're done.
You know, they're third in their division, sitting at 3-4 now, coming out of their bye. Lost to the Niners on Sunday Night Football. You got the Commanders who are 6-2, and the Eagles who are looking better, who are what now 5-2, I think, because they had a bye. So you agree, the Cowboys, they're done, not making the playoffs.
Even though, in my heart, I was the happiest I had been watching this team. Dalvin Cook out there, my 3rd favorite Viking ever. Zeke out there, my 2nd favorite Buckeye ever. They both looking like they weak as hell, but Zeke looked at least somewhat competent, and it made my heart happy to watch them. But unfortunately, they gave a win to a bum ass team that they should have beat, but they shouldn't beat them. They were
that.
Never
Just
in the
because
game.
of that, I'm bringing another overreaction to the table. The Niners are still the team to beat in the NFC. Just because of that statement, a fucking last second overreaction. The Niners are still the team to beat in the NFC. We have a bye week next week.
So are we excluding the Lions? Are we excluding the Lions?
We have a bye week next week. We come back. All signs point to Christian McCaffrey coming back week 10 against the Bucs after the bye.
Is he Jesus Christ?
No setbacks. What do you mean?
What do you mean? What do I mean? Your team stinks.
That's just not true. Our team doesn't stink. It's just little things that we just suck in the red zone, which Christian McCaffrey will help. We've been injured, and we just get healthy with Christian McCaffrey and Dre Greenlaw coming back out the bye, and that'll improve our defense so much. I don't know why you're rolling your eyes like it's not true. Dre Greenlaw is probably a top 10 linebacker in the league, playing next to the best one in the league in Fred Warner. CMC back on the offense makes life so much easier for Brock Purdy, and so much easier for George Kittle, who's been our bright spot on offense this season. So now you got me just because of that statement. I would have never said this if you didn't say something. I would call us a weak ass team. So the Niners are the team to beat in the NFC.
I think that when you woke up this morning, you must have hit your head really hard on something.
Okay, so like you said, outside of the Lions, the Niners are the team are the second best team in the NFC.
I'm not taking them over the Commanders. I'm not taking them over the Vikings. I'm not taking them. I want to say the Packers, but I can't say the Packers. They better worry about their own division. Screw the whole NFC.
Absolutely. Literally all 4 teams can win the division right now. Literally all 4 teams can win the division.
And then the other 3 can miss it. If they don't win the division, there's a good chance they miss the playoffs.
That's what it looks like at this point. It's whoever comes out or whoever wins the division is going to be the only team out the NFC West to be in the playoffs, because this sorry ass team.
And we rocking with Kyler over here.
Yeah, fuck you. But before we get into the review of this past weekend, you can go ahead and get into your review of your bold predictions.
Every week on the preview episode, we do it a little bit. Or I give Herlin some bold predictions, see what he thinks about them. The first one, I said Marcus Mariota was going to lead the chart. Restart. I said Bro, am I okay? Am I okay? I'm so damn flustered. Marcus Mariota was going to lead the Commanders to a win this game, and he didn't play, so that one was a miss. But the Commanders won, so I'm taking half a point. I said 3 tight ends were going to have 100 yards. Kittle had 128. Trey McBride had 124. That was it.
Oh, no. But it was a great weekend for the tight ends.
Had like 91.
Yeah, it was a great weekend
for
the
tight ends.
Not 100 yards, yeah.
I said somebody was going to have 3 rushing touchdowns, whether that was Derek or Saquon.
Somebody did do it.
And you said it was going to be Josh Jacobs, and he had 2, so shout out you.
Mm-hmm.
But
Jalen Hurts,
little weak ass, had 3.
Weak ass, definitely his little weak ass. Because I played him in fantasy, so fuck him. Bro. And fucking Saquon Barkley is my fantasy running back, so it pisses me off. Because Saquon got down to the 2-yard line, and I just threw my hands up like, well, fuck. Because I know what they're gonna do now. I know it's just gonna be a tush push, and Jalen Hurts is gonna get this.
I have him in the numbers on the board league, bro.
Saquon,
if he gets one, if he gets one of those touchdowns, I beat the Mills. I lose by 2.
It pisses me off, bro. It's just because they get into the 5, and it's just a fucking tush push, bro. This shit pisses me off. And I play Jalen Hurts, so go ahead, man. Continue.
I hate fantasy football so much.
I want y'all to know I lost this weekend because Brock Purdy took a knee, so I lost by 0.02. I was up by like 0.8. He took a knee, lost the yard, so I lost by 0.02. Fuck fantasy football. I'm literally done. And I was telling the guys this, I might be done with PPR, bro. Because I'm tired of a dude having fucking 50 yards, but he did it on 9 catches. So it looks like he just had a hell of a day in fantasy. Like he'll have 16 points, but his ass had fucking 40 yards that had fucking 12 catches. Because his ass is getting 3 yards a catch. Like I might be done with fucking I might be done with PPR, bro, because that shit pisses me off, man. But continue, man. Fuck.
I don't know what I'm continuing about. I'm in a $100 league, right? I've started Kyle Pitts every single game this year, and it's a touchdown dependent. It's a touchdown dependent league. The final score was 32-28, and if I start Kyle Pitts, I win. Dude dropped Jake Ferguson, Herlins. I kept TJ Hawkinson on my bench all year. Mm-hmm. He drops Jake Ferguson. I said, ooh, shiny little toy. So I pick up Jake Ferguson and start him, and he gets 0. When Kyle Pitts scores that first touchdown, I almost cried.
And then that second one, he damn near pissed me off. I was going to whoop his fucking ass. His ass started, it was at the fucking 5-yard line. His ass just fucking decided to go on a Sunday stroll and just stopped running to the end zone. And I don't know how they called it a touchdown because it looked like he fumbled it before he got to the end zone, but they gave him the touchdown, so I was happy. Because I made a tweet about it right when it happened. I was like, there's just no way. Because his ass just started walking to the end zone. But, yeah.
Bro, and Malik, oh my gosh, Malik Neighbors had a touchdown today, and his right foot was just a little bit out. If he, I hate fantasy football so much.
This might.
I can't wait to only do like one league next year.
See, that's the thing. I can't just do one league because if I'm shit in that one league, I have at least if I do multiple leagues. If I'm shit in one, I could. Okay, that is crazy. You just gotta find the nice medium. It can't be 1, but it can't be 8. Like I'm in 3.
I don't know which one's the league,
I think 3 is the sweet spot. I'm
in 2 dynasty leagues, and I don't even fuck with either one of them. But I don't know how to just leave them.
Yeah, I've never been in dynasty leagues, football. I don't know.
I hate. Final bold prediction was the whole NFC West wins this week. And the Rams won on Thursday. The Niners sadly won on Sunday Night Football. The Cardinals won early Sunday. But unfortunately, the Seahawks let us down.
Yeah, that's what I thought would happen, to be honest.
Other than that, though, we always do our pick'ems and our fantasy 4-mans on the preview episode. Mm-hmm. Herlin started off up 2-0 in fantasy 4-man. This was our 6th week of doing it, and I have won 4 times in a row. Before it's Malik Neighbors
even like in our fantasy league, didn't you lose your first 2 and now you won 6 in a row? Isn't that how you are? Like you're 6-2 now, right? After starting 0-2.
I don't know.
He just don't know, and this is a money league, by the way. And he just don't know. Like that's crazy.
It's my lowest money league.
That's crazy. He's just the fucking man over here. $20 and he just don't give a fuck. Go ahead, man. Continue.
No, I do give a fuck because I'm good in that league. That's my best league. That's my best league.
I think that's my best league too, and I'm only fucking 4-3 or some shit like that. 4-4. I don't even know, but yeah.
But I beat you. I had Malik Neighbors, and I beat you before Monday Night Football even started. So
yeah.
You got your ass whooped. And then on the pick'ems, it was 62-62 going into this week. I was up 3-2, and I beat you by 1 pick this week. I had 11, you had 10. So I'm up to 73, you're up to 72, and I'm up 4-2 on you on the week total.
Okay, 4-2. So you remember how you were saying we should? I think we might just have to do total games because
I told you I was gonna do whatever you wanted. You bitched and hissed about it, so I kept doing both. I asked you man to man what you wanted to do, and you couldn't tell me, so I just did both.
Because it felt like you were just trying to get out of it because I was making a little comeback. That's what it felt like.
Nah, you ain't beating me, so it don't matter.
You're right, man. Let's get into this week 8 review, man. We can start off with the first game of the week, going in order. The Packers squeaked
Not to interrupt you, but I just got an alert on my watch from Mike Hurd.
That's why I looked down on. That's why I looked down on my phone. Yeah.
And I offered him a trade and like begged him to accept it. And if we finish this and he didn't respond to me, but he tweeted about fantasy football, I might have a meltdown. I might blow the fuck up. But we can move on. Packers at Jaguars.
You should hit him up. Like, just send him a text and see if he responds by the end of the show. But yeah,
I sent him multiple texts before we started. Packers at Jaguars, 30-27. Packers moved to 6-2. The Jaguars fall to 2-6. Sujop unfortunately had to post his little meme of the dude standing there looking at the circuits.
I immediately thought about you when I seen it. I immediately thought about you.
The Jaguar season is 100% over. There's nothing to play for. Doug Peterson should have been gone 4 weeks ago.
Absolutely.
Jordan Love had a serious serious lower leg injury in this game.
Oh yeah. The New Yorkers groin, yeah.
Whatever it was.
Yeah.
Hopefully he's okay. They said that he avoided like super serious, but he probably will miss at least this week. So we go back to Malik Willis, and if you got Josh Jacobs or you got a chance to get Josh Jacobs, go all in on him because they're going to go back to him heavy again. Trevor Lawrence is an absolute dog that deserves a better team and a better coach and better coordinators. Brian Thomas unfortunately got hurt. He got a chest contusion. Christian Kirk dislocated or broke his collarbone. Broke his collarbone. He's out for season. So without those two, if he has to play without those two next week, Trevor Lawrence, you might as well say you pulled your hammy or something because there's no reason to. Make Mac Jones go out there and ruin his season. I don't want to see him continue to just play good and not be able to get a win. I feel so bad for T-Law because he's having a good season, but if you look at the standings, you're like...
Trevor is balling, bro. He is balling his ass off. He's playing... He had that one bad interception. It was a pretty bad interception, but other than that, he played his ass off. That throw on a rope he threw to, I think it was BTJ up the right sideline, man. Trevor is playing his ass off, doing anything you could ask of him at quarterback that's on a team like this. He's getting the ball to his guys. They're dropping it. You just...
Him and Yo Guy are the two most underrated quarterbacks in football. Him and Justin Herbert are criminally underrated, dude. Criminally.
The Justin Herbert...
We'll get to him, but yeah. Criminally underrated.
Yeah,
and
I think Justin Herbert's a top 5 quarterback in the league, bro. I really do. I love Justin Herbert. But yeah. But what I will say for the Packers, I had it written down somewhere. I don't know, but I don't think I really need to look at it. But Jordan Love, he's been turning the ball over a lot this season, but it saved them because... This defense is just they'll just get it back for him. I think they had a fumble recovery and another interception. I think that's 19 takeaways they have on the season or something like that. Which is it's insane. It's insane. Their
defense is nasty.
They're taking the ball away at an insane rate. So that's why Jordan Love's interceptions haven't really come back to bite them in the ass yet. But I would like to see Jordan Love kind of, I know he's just being a gunslinger out there.
I've been saying it for weeks.
Yeah, he's just bombing it, making all these different types of throws, and it's going to cost them at some point in the season when that defense isn't going to be able to get the ball back for him. So I would like to see him kind of play a little more safe, but still be Jordan Love and make those, type of plays, but just be a little less reckless. So yeah, that's all I got to say about this game. I really don't.
Shout out.
Yeah, go on.
Shout out Xavier McKinney. The dude's a monster. Absolutely, he's so good.
Yeah.
And this game was won by a field goal from Brandon McManus. He's still in legal trouble, so I don't know if I want to say shout out to him or not because I don't know if he's a scumbag. So
we can
move on.
Yeah, we can.
But my boy Marv, Maserati Marv, bro. The Cardinals go into Miami, 3-4, and come out 4-4. Tua's back this week. Everybody picking the Dolphins. I think if you look at the panels, there might be like one person picking the Cardinals on each panel, and we both picked them.
Yep.
And Kyler Murray deserves so much love, man. They've relied on James Conner a lot this season, and James Conner struggled. He did not have the game that they've become accustomed to him having. And on the other side, they were getting killed by Devon Achane. He didn't run the ball a lot, but he had the one rip off that was real good, and even other than that, he played good just completely. Tua fumbled in the back of their end zone and gave the Cardinals a safety when it was like 20-10 or something like that, and changed the landscape of the game pretty big. But Marvin Harrison and Trey McBride.
What I had written down, Marvin Harrison. Yeah, I'm so happy to see him getting the ball. Yeah,
but he was like the main story, and he looked like shit compared to Trey McBride. Dude, Trey McBride hooped. He had like 11 targets for 8 receptions or 130 yards. No, 128 yards. He balled. He's a monster. I like Trey McBride coming into the draft. I liked him and Dalton Kincaid.
Mm-hmm.
I honestly like Sam Laporta. That tight end draft class was
really
phenomenal,
good.
man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was. But it was a tough loss for the Dolphins. You get your guy back into the offense did look
Season's
better.
over.
Yeah, but the Bills literally may not have to play their starters past maybe like fucking week 11 or 12. It's insane. They're 6-2 now. The next best team is 2-5. 2-5. It's 2-5, 2-6, 2-6. That's everybody else in the division. While the Bills are 6-2. The Bills literally may not have to play players past week 11. Go ahead.
This is the division coming in where we were both like, man, the Jets could make it, the Dolphins could make it.
I thought this could possibly have 3 playoff teams. I think I did in the predictions in our first episode. I think I had 3 playoff teams for this division, and now they're legitimately only going to have 1. So
I only picked the Bills to make it, but I thought that the Jets and Dolphins would both be at least competent. We'll get to the Jets, man, but they look pitiful. And without Tua Tagovailoa, Mike McDaniel just doesn't know what he's doing. And
even
with Tua,
he doesn't
Tua looked good though. I can't say anything about Tua.
Man, my brother was at that game and he was you could hear it on the broadcast, but at the game he was telling me when Tua slid and got hype, the crowd went crazy. And my brother was in a booth next to Tua's family, and he says when
rich.
No, his coworker knows somebody at the Dolphins, and he went with them. But yeah, I didn't go with y'all rich. I was sitting the game. I was sitting watching on TV. But he said he was next to Tua's family, and he said when Tua was running, Tua's family was just like covering their faces, just hoping he would go down and hoping he didn't get hit. But Tua went down, and then he slid, got up, and was all hype, and the crowd went crazy. So it was a good moment. Good to see Tua back. Happy he's healthy, but you may just want to go sit back down because the season's over. You're not making the
season's over.
Yeah.
Might as well trade.
No. See, I was in the next coming episodes. I was gonna talk about it today because I was telling you I didn't know what to do because I didn't have the overreactions. I was gonna come with teams that should be buyers or sellers, but we'll get into that later down the road. But I don't think the Dolphins should be selling. I think you just come back next season and see what you got because because they were just piss poor this season. It's because your quarterback was just out with a concussion. So I don't blame them too much for this season. But moving on.
I do.
The New York Jets fall to the New England Patriots 22-25. Both teams move to 2-6. Another disappointing loss for the Jets. For a Jets team that I said Robert Saleh, the firing wasn't his fault. You shouldn't have fired him. I said adding Devontae Adams wouldn't do anything for this team. It wasn't going to change. It wasn't going to change the way they played. It wasn't going to instill something in them. It wasn't just going to magically turn their season around. And what do you know? 2-6. The only teams they beat, I think, are the Titans and the Patriots earlier in the season. I think those are the only teams. Every other game has been a god-awful loss. This team is piss poor for a defense that we thought was going to be elite coming into the season. Has been awful. You let Jacoby Brissett come in and walk it down the field and just win the game. You let not even Drake May, who ran in for like a 19-yard touchdown or something like that.
17.
You let Jacoby Brissett come in and win this game. Sauce Gardner, for how good he's been in the past, has not been great this season. He has not been great this season.
That man's name is Ahmed.
He's just not allowed to be called Sauce anymore, huh? Mr. Gardner, he gave him a big catch late on that last drive for the Patriots to go win the game. This is just such a disappointing season from the Jets. And Aaron Rodgers has some quote about him. He's been in the darkness before. He knows how to deal with it and shit like that. Man, your season's fucking over.
They adopted the darkness.
Your season's over, Aaron Rodgers. He had that quote years ago with the Packers. Where it was like the RELAX when he was telling everybody to relax and the Packers were going to run the table. And they did run the table, but you're just not doing that with the fucking Jets team. This team is god-awful. It's an embarrassment. I said it was going to be a soap opera with Devontae Adams over there. And what do you know, bro? I don't got much to say about this garbage-ass team.
Spelling relax just kicked your ass. REL. Love you, bro. Drake May had that rushing touchdown, like you said. That man is the truth. It sucks that he had to go out with that concussion. But you got your cornerstone Patriots fans, and I'm so happy for y'all. But there's nothing to look forward to until that draft. Once that draft comes and y'all can build a line or build some weapons, I'll be happy for you. Mondre looked decent this game. He didn't. Mondre looked weak, but the whole team, but the whole team weak. So like he was one of the less dark parts of the team. The Jets are bad. Aaron Rodgers has less wins than Anthony Richardson on a team that should be better than the team Anthony Richardson is on.
Absolutely.
And Anthony Richardson has gotten a lot of hate, and I'm sure you're going to hate on him once we get to the Colts game.
Rightfully so.
And
criticism. I'm not gonna say hate. I would say criticism. But continue.
Aaron Rodgers has the same amount of wins as Malik Willis.
Yeah, who's not a starter. Yeah, it's bad. And Hassan Reddick, all that crying you did, he didn't do a damn thing.
Again. He came out and cried again.
26 snaps, he had 2 pressures. He didn't do a damn thing. Not a damn thing. All that crying, all that holding out for you to come back and against an offensive line like the Patriots for you to do nothing.
The worst unit in football.
And
he gonna say somebody give Bill Belichick a job because
I saw that. Yeah, because
dude's lame. He lame.
Yep. Man, bro.
He can go into the Ravens game.
Yeah, this is
Ravens at Browns.
Jets are so disappointed, man. Your Ravens.
Ravens moved to 5-3. The Browns go up to 2-6. Final score of 24-29. Pitiful performance from the Ravens.
Absolutely.
They're early in the game. They got stuffed in the red zone. It was 4th and 1, and they tried to run wildcat with Derrick Henry. Stupid ass decision on my part. Not my part, but in my opinion, just give it to Derrick to run under center or something. You don't want what? Nelson Aguilar should not be a top receiver on a team that wants to win a Super Bowl. I think that's pitiful. I think they need to go get a top guy. Not a top guy, but a better option.
Absolutely.
The Ravens had a lot of drops in this game.
Again.
But this loss is unacceptable. Jameis Winston, me and you have both said so much praise, or we have said so much praise about him all season. We absolutely love the guy, and they should be.
The Browns got to look like the biggest idiots right now. Like the Browns of all teams in the league have to look like the biggest idiots right now. The biggest idiots.
They are. They should have beaten the Giants. That's 3-5. They should have beaten the Raiders. That's 4-4.
And you're right there.
And even if you had cut it off there,
exactly, you're right there in the mix for the playoffs. You're right. You're right there.
Easily beaten the Eagles and the Bengals as well, and that's 6-2. I'm not saying they pull out all those games if Jameis starts, but they're at least pulling out 2 of those 4, and 4-4 is.
And it's exactly what I said with Jameis. He's going to be a quarterback that just doesn't care. It's literally exactly what happened on the game-winning touchdown. He nearly threw a pick to Kyle Hamilton. He dropped it. And then the very next play, Jameis throws the game-winning touchdown. And that's all we've been saying, that Jameis was just going to bomb it and bring some life to this offense. If Deshaun Watson would have damn near threw an interception, his next play would have been a check down. He would have scrambled, been too scared to throw it down the field, and would have threw it out of bounds, just threw it away. But Jameis didn't give a fuck that he almost threw an interception. He was throwing it again. He did not care. As a quarterback, you just got to have a short-term memory. It's bad. It's bad, man. It is bad.
He had Elijah Moore and Jerry Judah.
Cedric Tillman.
Sorry, Cedric Wilson plays for the Broncos. I don't know. He's that ball motherfucker though. But you got Elijah Moore and Jerry Jeudy, and Cedric Tillman's your top guy. It makes me sad because I really like David Bell coming into his draft class. He played in the Big Ten, and he's out for season this year. But I think that if he was playing, this would be a really good time for him to get reps. Unfortunately, like I said, out for season. But I was watching this game with my pops and his best friend, and when he threw that bomb to Tillman, he goes, "Why the fuck are you airing it out for that?" And I said, "Because they're winning the game, jackass." Mm-hmm. If you're a Ravens fan, no, you can't be upset with this loss.
Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You absolutely should be upset.
I worded it wrong. You can be upset, but you can't This isn't a terrible loss by any means.
I think it is. Honestly, I honestly think it is, because you had your chances to win this game, and like I said, it's the same. It's the same problem. Well, that's been the problem. I get it. You didn't have Nate Wiggins. You didn't have Marlon Humphrey, but it's the same thing with the Ravens. Their secondary and defense is horrid. It's god awful. Jameis went out there and put up 334 and 3 touchdowns. Look at the receiving numbers across the board. 7 for 99 and 2 touchdowns. Elijah Moore, 8 for 85. Jerry Jeudy, 5 for 79. David Njoku, 5 for 61 and a touchdown. Everybody ate. Everybody did. Everybody had a good game. That secondary is god awful, and if the Ravens don't turn that around, there's no way in January and damn if they get to February, there's no way they're beating teams like the Chiefs or the Bills in the playoff setting. And now that the Bills have Amari Cooper, it's gonna be tough as hell for them to beat teams when they can't cover anybody, cannot cover anyone. And like I said, I get it. You're missing your top two corners, but it's not like it was good before they were out. It was already bad, and you had opportunities in this game, but you dropped them, and you gave Jameis life. And he killed you. And he killed you.
That was my whole point. You had so many receiver drops. If you catch a couple more, Lamar's stat line looks way better, and you score more points. And if Kyle Hamilton catches that pass that he dropped, which is literally right in his hands, he's going to be kicking himself all week for that drop. Mm-hmm. Nobody's talking about this loss. Nobody's talking about this game. The Ravens win again. That should have been the storyline. Unfortunately, for his sake, it's not.
What I will say, the Ravens tend to give up a lot of leads. I had it written down somewhere, but they did it earlier in the season with the Raiders. The eighth loss when leading inside the final 2 minutes of the fourth quarter since 2022. 8 losses when you're leading inside of 2 minutes. That's terrible. That is terrible. So the Ravens got to get it together. I'm not turning on them or anything. I still think they're probably, but other than the Chiefs, I think they're the second best team in the AFC. Them, the Chiefs, and the Bills. All right there. So I think they'll be fine at the end of the season, but this is definitely a bad loss, I would say.
I like that you brought that up because earlier in the season, Lamar said they have to stay aggressive because John Harbaugh, he will build a lead and then he wants to just take his foot off the gas and coast to the end. And you can't do that in a division, not a division, a conference that's so tough. The AFC is filled with talent, dude. You're going to play good talent, or good teams that can come back from deficits, and you see this for the second time this season. They have 3 losses, and they should have 1.
Absolutely,
they should be 7-1.
Absolutely. Moving on. Yeah, the Eagles beat down the Bengals 37-17.
Merch coming soon. Moving on.
I was telling, so I say it 100 times an episode, bro. I'm watching it back, bro. I say moving on so much.
You say moving on, and at the same time, I say we can move on. It's
if we ever get merch, I promise you that shit. It's across. It's just saying fucking moving on, bro. But the Eagles beat the Bengals 37-17. The Eagles move to 5-2. The Bengals fall to 3-5. Man. That Bengals defense.
T. Higgins was out in this one.
Yeah.
And that changes their offense much. It's shown every time he's out.
Yep. I was saying it when he came back. Yeah. T. Higgins just brings a different dynamic to that offense because you can't double Jamar Chase because you got T. Higgins on the other side. You got T. Higgins in the slot. You gotta get a body on him or else he's gonna play as well as he did these past few games. But Mike Gesicki stepped up pretty well early on in the game.
First half he balled,
yeah. He had that one-handed catch on the sideline. He was very, very good in that first half, but nobody did much of anything in the second half for the Bengals. The Eagles. Still another game. They haven't scored in the first quarter at all this season. They start games terribly, but they were able to turn things around and get back right. So go ahead though.
I don't blame them in this one though. The Bengals' first drive was a 10-minute touchdown drive, so you got 5 minutes. And I don't blame them completely plus they kicked the field goal as soon as the second quarter started. But this is their 7th game they haven't scored in the first quarter. Yeah, that's rough. Philly got hot towards the end of the first half and carried the momentum into the end of the game. It was 20-4-17 at one point. The Bengals were down and they went for it on their own 30-yard line. And if you lose, but if you don't get it, then you give the Eagles a guaranteed field goal. And that's exactly what happened. They didn't get it. They gave the Eagles a guaranteed field goal, and the Eagles went on to score 20 unanswered. The final score was 37-17. The Bengals never scored again. And that's just bad coaching from Zach Taylor. If they don't make the playoffs, this will be his last season. There's no doubt in my mind. But like I said earlier, Joe Burrow, he believes they can still make it, and I love the confidence from him because I'm starting to get bleak on y'all.
Yeah, that run game was really, really bad, man. They just could not get it going on the ground, so it was all down to Joe Burrow, and he just didn't have it today. The entire Bengals offense just didn't have it today. Like I said, they didn't have T. Higgins. But I like what I saw from the Eagles defense, a unit that I wasn't really high on. They were able to contain this offense who's been putting up a lot of points throughout this season. They looked good. They picked Burrow off once, I'm pretty sure. They had a fumble recovery, I think, in this game. Was Quinyon
Did you see the pick?
Yes, yeah. It was
Or
kind
the little tap over?
Yeah, like he tipped it to his teammate. Who was it? Quinyon Mitchell. I think it was Quinyon Mitchell that got it,
Yeah,
or did he tip it?
Tipped it over to CJ.
CJ Gardner Johnson. Yeah, so it was a pretty nice play, like on the right sideline. I think it was on, but yeah.
And CJ went and celebrated like he was doing shit. You got lucky, man. You've been bad this season.
Yeah, he has. But no, I like what I saw. Like I said, I like what I saw from the Eagles defense. It definitely gives me confidence in them moving forward. This was probably Jalen Hurts' best game of the season. He was good, really good, especially on the ground, I guess, because he had 3 touchdowns, but 2 of them were tush pushes.
He had one touchdown.
He had the nice run he had the nice 1 touchdown run. But yeah, he was decent today. He had the nice pass to Devonta Smith. That touchdown pass was really nice. Saquon did his thing as always, but yeah.
Saquon is the best running back in football.
And this season, I think it'd have to go to Derrick Henry, but I'm not mad at you for saying Saquon. I'm not mad at you for saying Saquon, but yeah, we can move on. I don't need to spend much time here. Do you think the Eagles catch the Commanders in the NFC East?
Yes.
Yeah, you think the Eagles end up winning that division?
Probably.
Okay. Moving on. The Indianapolis Colts fall to the Houston Texans 20-3. The Texans move to 6-2. Colts fall to 4-4. The story coming out of this game, Anthony Richardson.
Oh, I just keep catching myself looking fucking sad as hell. My energy is not right.
Get it back up, man. Do what you got to do, Shake the bad energy out. Grab all the bad energy out the room and just throw that bitch out the window, man.
Daniel Jones already played. He instilled it into me.
Well, like I was saying,
said, though,
Anthony Richardson is probably the story coming out of this game. He finished the game 10 for 32, 175, a touchdown and a pick. At one point in this game, he was 2 for 15, which is, I texted you at that point, and I was like, Anthony Richardson is garbage.
If you tell me that Joe Flacco should start, I'm leaving this call.
Just because you said that, those words will not come out of my mouth. But like I said, it depends on what the Colts are trying to do this season. If you want to be a playoff and competitive team, you play Flacco. But if you just want to develop your guy, which I cannot hate on you, he's just a second-year quarterback, so I'm not giving up on him. You shouldn't be giving up on him. He's just a second-year guy who didn't play, damn near a first-year guy because he got injured early on in his rookie season. So he's really still in his rookie year. So I can't be mad at the Colts for continue to play him. Just let your young guy develop. But my goodness, it is bad. It is bad. 2 for 15 is horrendous. That, like I've said it in the past, for a basketball player, that'd be bad, but you chalk it up. Yeah, he just shot poorly. But it doesn't make sense for an NFL quarterback to be 2 for 15. And there were some drops in there.
There was definitely some drops.
As a head coach, as a play
caller. In the
caller,
end zone as well.
As a play caller, it's not all on Anthony Richardson, because as a play caller, how can you not make you see your quarterback is 2 for 15? How do you manage to let him finish 10 for 32? Call some screen passes, get the ball out of his hands quick.
And this is the same guy who made Gardner Minshew look like a quarterback worth paying last year.
It cannot be all on Anthony Richardson if he's 10 for 32, because there's just no quick passing game. Everything needs 10 minutes to develop down the field. And by then he has to scramble and make something work, make some magic happen. You got to get some quick slants going, a quick screen pass. Get Jonathan Taylor coming out of the backfield. Give him a check down to a tight end. Make life easier for a young quarterback. Give him a quick outlet so he doesn't have to stand there and make some miraculous play happen every other play. If it's not, it's been said all season, but if it's not a 60-yard bomb, the Colts aren't getting down the field unless Jonathan Taylor takes them down there. Because unless it's Jonathan Taylor, him willing the team down the field with the run, or Anthony Richardson just making a beautiful throw down the field for 60 yards, this team cannot move down the field. They're never gonna beat you on a 15, like how the Bengals had a 15-yard opening drive, taking up 11 minutes of the clock. They just never will. They never will, and especially not with Anthony Richardson throwing. But I don't want to go too hard on him because, like I said, he's really still in his rookie season because he didn't play much last year. But go ahead.
Anthony Richardson is 3 for 2 on the season with 1 possession losses to Green Bay and to Houston. Mm-hmm. 2 of the best teams in football.
Absolutely.
Joe Flacco is 1 and 2 on the season. I'm not saying Joe Flacco is worse than Anthony Richardson because that'd be silly of me because he's obviously looked better.
Absolutely.
But Nico worded it perfectly. He sums up my thoughts in one little paragraph. He said that 2024 was supposed to be all about giving AR reps and the opportunity to grow from mistakes. Abandoning that tells me either Steichen has the wrong motives or there's serious locker room tension. And that's coming from Elite Takes, Nico, whatever you want to know him as.
Yeah.
And I couldn't agree any more because Anthony Richardson, as you said, he didn't play last year. This is pretty much his first season.
Mm-hmm.
And he has a winning record. You lose to the Texans, who were one of the best teams in the league last year, and are one of the best teams in the league this year. And you lose by 3 points. Yeah, he didn't look great, but he had some drops in the end zone. Adonai Mitchell had, I think, 2 where he had 1 foot in and 1 foot out. And he had 1 interception. It's not like he's throwing it to the other team a lot. Yeah, he's missing passes, but I would rather you miss 3 in a row and we have a 3 and out than you throw it to the other team and we get a pick 6. Kyle McCord threw 3 pick 6s last week. And that's the reason he don't play for Ohio State anymore. That motherfucker weak. But Anthony Richardson is way too good on a team that is not good enough to bench him for a 39-year-old quarterback. You don't. If they pull this off, I will be. And Shane Steichen came out and said that they won't announce their starter yet. And I think that is such a bonehead play.
I will say I think they should stick with Anthony Richardson. I think you do just continue to play him. But I could get it why the wide receivers or a Colts fan would want to see Joe Flacco, because you just want to see you just want to see your team be able to put up a bunch of points and shit like that. So I get it from a fan perspective. But what's best for this team long term is Anthony Richardson and developing your young quarterback who's only in his second season, really his first season, because he maybe has 8 games under his belt, something like that.
I think this was his 10th game.
Yeah, exactly.
But that's not even finishing all of them.
Exactly.
That's like finishing 7 or 8.
I don't think you go to Flacco unless, like I said, you really just don't think Anthony Richardson is your guy. But if you have any faith in him being your guy, there's no reason why he shouldn't be your starter the rest of your season and your plans for next season moving forward. So you let him play, you let him develop. And plus, it's not like this is a team that everybody had coming into the season. They were contenders. If this was a team that was just ready to win right now, I could see why you would want to just put in Flacco and get everybody going. But this is not a team that anyone had contending. No one thought would be there at the end of the season, so why not just let your guy develop?
And even after the first couple of games, people were saying, we were coming on here and saying that defense was bad. And the defense has looked way better than people expected. But the defense still isn't a defense that's going to lead you to wins. They're a middle-of-the-pack team with a superstar potential quarterback. Yeah, he's looking like very mediocre. He's looking like I came in your chat and said he was top 40.
And that's the thing, because there are plays he makes where holy hell, this guy could be a top 7 quarterback one day. But then it's like you'll watch him for a series and it's like, how the fuck is this guy a starter? It's just he has to find the middle ground, and it's just sometimes the highs are really high but the lows are super low. So he just has to find the middle ground, and I think that'll get him going in the right direction. But
I need him to realize
Go ahead.
I need him to realize he doesn't have to run through cornerbacks. He can go down so he doesn't injure himself. Mm-hmm. And I need him to realize how good Michael Pittman is at football. Whether it's across the middle, whether it's out routes, you don't have to throw 100 yards every single play. And I know that's what you want to do, but that's not going to win you games. Mm-hmm. You're going to throw more completions than you do completions. And Anthony Richardson is so talented. And I will say that if they bench him for Joe Flacco, I will come on this podcast and raise hell, Herlins. You thought I was upset about Bryce Young being benched? I don't even fuck with Bryce Young. Anthony Richardson is one of my favorite young quarterbacks in football. I will raise hell. Go ahead and ask your question.
Well, I just wanted to know, it's nothing serious. I just wanted to know what you thought about him checking himself out the game because he was tired. Did I see no?
He's childish. Very childish.
Yeah, I definitely was crazy because on the broadcast they were saying we don't really know what's going on with him. We're not sure. We'll get back to you. We're not sure if he got injured or something. But then at the post game they asked him and he was like, "No, I was just tired. I just asked coach to come out for a play." So I definitely saw that. And I was like, I've never seen a quarterback just check themselves out of the game because you're tired. I mean, you couldn't have asked your coach, "Hey, let's just run the ball here. I'm a little winded. Let me catch my breath. Let's just hand the ball off to one of the best running backs in the league, and Jonathan Taylor." He asked to get out of the game. I've never seen something like that, but yeah. So
he needs some stability from his coaching staff. He did whatever he wanted in Florida, it seems. Florida. I think he went to Florida. You have no damn clue.
No.
But he's got to grow
Florida?
up. We can move
He
on.
was the Florida. I think he was a Gator. Yeah, he was a Gator. He was a Gator. But we could. Oh my goodness, we're not spending much time here. I'm sorry.
All I want to say on this game,
yeah.
we got the Titans at the Lions. We don't need to talk about the final score. The Lions moved to 6-1. The Titans, your season's over. Starting this game, Mason Rudolph, he runs to the left side and hits a little juke, and it was nasty, bro. If you didn't see it, just look up their highlights after this. It was awesome. And that was like the only play he made the whole time. Calvin Ridley, I love Calvin Ridley. He was phenomenal.
I texted you early on. I was like, Calvin Ridley heard that shit you were saying, and he came out and had like 116 in the first quarter or something like that. Yeah.
There's not a lot to talk about positively for the Titans season. Not just this game. Sonic and Knuckles is one of the coolest nicknames in football. I love it.
I'm not a huge fan of it, to be honest. I'm not a huge
what?
fan. I'm not a huge fan. It's aight. It's aight. But what I will say, for a team to put up 52 points and your quarterback throws for 85 yards is ridiculous. All I wrote down for this game was literally just all three phases. All three phases. The offense, the defense, and the special teams. Because Khalif Raymond had the one that he almost took back, but he got like shoelace tackled. Then he said, fuck that, later in the game, and then took one to the crib. So, yeah, man, you had a running back throwing a touchdown. Amon-Ra St. Brown was butt naked open on his touchdown. The Lions just did whatever they wanted. And it seems like they're doing whatever they want to anybody. They have one loss on the season. I think it was to the Bucs early on in the season. But, man.
When Goff was looking poopy.
Yeah, I really think this is the best team in the league with how Goff is playing. He didn't have to do anything this past game, but still had 3 touchdowns, 12 for 15. But I don't have much to say about this game.
Hey, who beat the Lions?
The Bucs. I think I know what you're about to do. And next game, moving on.
And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers fall to the Atlanta Falcons.
Yep, the Bucs fall to the Falcons in Tampa, 31-26. Kirk go chains, man.
Hey, look at that quarterback stats.
Uh-huh.
What was we talking about before we started?
What were we talking?
4 touchdowns.
Uh-huh.
Against a good team.
Oh, it was Kirk Cousins. Kirk Cousins has
been phenomenal in Atlanta, dude.
Uh-huh.
I'm so proud of what he's doing. Kyle Pitts had a hell of a game.
He's found himself, man. He's found himself. Yeah, I'm happy for Kyle Pitts, yeah.
And we said last episode, whether he doesn't have to boom like we all wanted him to. If he's just this guy the rest of his career, nobody can be upset with him because this is a good tight end, and tight ends aren't great. All I want to say about the Bucs is Cade Otton was, as I said, for Laporta and Kincaid, and I liked Cade Otton a lot coming into the league. I drafted him in both my dynasties. I think I ended up dropping him in both though, but I like Cade Otton a whole bunch. I have a Rashad White jersey, so I want him to get more carries because he's not looking bad. He's just Bucky Irving's looking good. And for a team that loses their top 2 guys to come out and be competitive against one of the best teams in the NFC, impressive to me. Shout out Baker Mayfield. He's having himself a hell of a season.
Yeah, Baker still played really well for losing his two best weapons. But they really relied on their running backs, even in the passing game. They relied on the run and they relied on Cade Otton, man. They just don't have any difference maker out wide anymore because you lose Mike Evans and Chris Godwin. They couldn't really get anything going deep down the field without their top 2 guys. And I am starting to question their defense just a little bit because this is a few games now where it's like, I mean, Kirk Cousins has been playing well, so I guess I'll give you a pass because he's just done this all season, it seems like now. But yeah, their defense is starting to raise some eyebrows for me because you give up. Kirk Cousins just did whatever he wanted this past weekend. Bijan had himself a decent game. Kyle Pitts was just doing whatever he wanted. And you're over there just having a great time. Kyle Pitts was just doing whatever he wanted. We talked about it earlier. Kyle Pitts almost pissed me off with that touchdown, but we're not going to go back there. But the Falcons are 4-0 in the division so far. 4-0. Because they beat the Bucs twice already. And I think they beat each of the other teams. I think it was. So it looks like the Falcons are going to
losing in their division.
It looks like the Falcons are going to walk away with this division, especially now that the Bucs lost 2 of their best players. Looks like the Falcons should win the NFC South, and I don't know if the Bucs are gonna have enough gas to keep it going and to stay alive until Mike Evans comes back and to sneak into the playoffs at the end of the season. So the Falcons may be the only team we see in the playoffs from the NFC South.
They said we probably see Mike Evans back in week 11, so they gotta go. They gotta buy before that.
I'm not sure because they have us after our we're on a bye week right now.
They don't have a bye,
and they have us week 11. Who they have next week?
They got the Chiefs next week.
The Chiefs
and then the Niners the week after.
Yeah,
and then they have a bye after the Niners.
It's gonna be tough for the Bucs to just hold ground. You're 4-4 right now. If you can be 5-5 and Mike Evans comes back, that's probably what you're hoping for. You're probably not gonna win both.
Come back week 12. They have a bye week 11.
So you're probably not going to be both the Chiefs or Niners, but if you can get one, you're probably happy. You're 5-5, and then Mike Evans comes back, you can make a late season push. But if you're 4-6, it's going to be a little tougher because Go ahead.
Listen to the schedule though. Even if you lose to the Chiefs and Niners, you got the Giants, Panthers, Raiders after that.
Oh my goodness!
So you should win all three of them. That's what 7-6.
Yeah.
And then you have the Chargers, who's a little tough. But after the Chargers, you have Cowboys. Panthers, Saints.
Who could win? The Cowboys could win, but then the Panthers, Saints, they should win both of those. So they should. They should at least have 5 more wins. 5 more wins to end this season, at least. So they honestly could get into the playoffs. But yeah, the Falcons look better and better. Their secondary, though, for as good as the names look, they're getting torched at times. At times, they are getting torched because Baker.
I love Jesse Bates.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Was it that interception? Was it him? I think it was Jesse Bates. Yeah, that interception was beautiful. Yeah, he's playing
so good.
Last season, he was like the best safety in football. He's playing his ass off again. But like I said, at times the Falcons secondary and the Falcons defense as a whole just doesn't look good. But they have the names, like they have the safeties, they have AJ Terrell at corner, they have Matthew Judon. But this is a team that I think should be buying at the deadline and just try to find somebody that can get some pressure on that defensive line or maybe a linebacker. Just find somebody.
I think you go for a linebacker.
Buyers. Yeah, they definitely should be buyers at the deadline.
I think Grady Jarrett and Matthew Judon are enough on your defensive line to make it at least somewhat challenging. I think that their main issue right now is they don't have a linebacker to really be the top guy, and their linebackers aren't like dog shit, but they just need to upgrade, and that never hurts. Upgrading never hurts.
Get into the next game. The Chargers. The Chargers.
Oh, bro, I'm not talking about this one.
The Chargers. I don't have much to say about this either. Yeah, he got benched. The Chargers beat the Saints 26-8. The Chargers moved to 4-3, and that's 6 straight losses for the Saints. You said you're not saying much about this game. Oh, never mind. Go ahead.
I would like to welcome my boy Frosty to the Ravens flock.
Okay, welcome, Frosty. Well, let me not say welcome like I'm a part of it, but
congratulations. You get the root for Lamar Jackson the rest of the season. Take it from a dedicated man to the Minnesota Vikings. Being a bandwagon never hurts.
So you're admitting you're a bandwagon?
No, I just said I'm dedicated to the Minnesota Vikings.
Okay, but you were talking.
But the Ravens are my pick to win the Super Bowl, and I want them to. So. But Justin Herbert, we already talked about Justin Herbert, bro, and he's the only reason to talk about this game. J.K. Dobbins looked cool. 8-26 is this final score. They started off 2-0, and they finished with 8. Yeah. Saints fans, Saints players.
Dennis
go to
Allen,
hell, y'all fucking stink.
Holy shit. What I will say, you were talking about it earlier, Justin Herbert, man, he's one of the most underrated quarterbacks in the league. I've always said for the past, I don't know how many seasons now, he's a top 5 quarterback in the league. I think that should be undisputed. I think he's the 5th best quarterback. You have Lamar, Pat, Allen, and Burrow, I think, above him, and I think he's the 5th best. Lamar, Pat, Burrow, Allen, yeah. And then Justin Herbert. I think he's top 5. There's nothing he can't do. If you give this guy weapons, he's making. I'm not bashing on Lab McConkey, but look at the numbers he's putting up. 6 for 11, 2 touchdowns. If you give
Don't reference this game. Don't reference this game. Reference last game where he made Will Dissly look like Jesus Christ.
If you give this guy some competent weapons, the numbers he can put up are going to be insane. But it looks like this is going to be another case of the
competent weapons with a non-bullshit ass coach, because he had weapons, but
Brandon Staley couldn't do anything, and it's the same defense. And look at Jim Harbaugh has his defense playing so much better. And Brandon Staley's supposed to be a defensive guy, and guess what? He's with the fucking Niners now. But but if you give Justin Herbert some fucking decent weapons and, like you said, a defense that can hold their own, man, the numbers he can put up, the wins he can be getting, I really think he can be competing in the AFC West with the Chiefs year in and year out if you give this guy a competent roster. But the way his career has started, it looks the same as fucking Phillip Rivers. It's going to be a quarterback that just puts up a bunch of numbers. It can maybe sneak into the playoffs every now and then, but it's going to be one and done. They're gonna have the amazing numbers, but just never win anything. And I just don't want to see that for Justin Herbert. It looks like things are turning around over there because they have Jim Harbaugh now. Maybe they'll probably get Justin Herbert, Greg Roman. They'll get Justin Herbert some weapons in the offseason, hopefully, and hopefully they can go from there. But the Chargers, I always said they're gonna be good but boring. I love Justin Herbert so much.
Q's been out the last couple weeks.
I root for Justin Herbert so hard, man, because the talk on his name is always like, no, he loses the big games because they had that loss to the Jags in the playoffs where the Jags came back on them. Justin Herbert can't finish the job. I hate the talk on Justin Herbert's name, bro, but it's not his fault. But I don't have shit to say about this game. The Saints are bad. 6 losses in a row. Go ahead.
I cannot agree that he's top 5. I would say he's 6th.
Are you gonna have CJ Stroud?
You don't like to do it because he's a
rookie. Jaden Daniels. Okay. Yeah. I don't like to do it, but no, I would say I'm not mad at you for it though. But yeah, I think Justin Herbert's a top 5 quarterback in the league. But we can move on to the Bills and Seahawks. The Bills moved to 6-2, beat the Seahawks 31-10. You can go ahead if you like.
The Seahawks fall to 4-4. This is the game that I predicted to be like game of the week. Technically, like especially for the 4 o'clock slate, this was Tom Brady's game, which means it's supposed to be the best game because you can't let Tom Brady have a bad game. That motherfucker stinks as a commentator.
Wow.
He's my favorite player of all time, other than Adrian Peterson, and he stinks as a commentator. So don't even say, "Wow, I love the guy." He want to say so bad, like he want to tell you he was a player so bad. He says it all the time. When I was playing, I did this, or I beat this guy this many times, or. Cool, dude. Geno Smith without DK Metcalf makes his job so much harder. And if Geno Smith isn't balling out, the Seahawks aren't winning.
That's what it's been the entire season.
That's the whole story.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
Kenneth Walker finishes with 9 carries for 12 yards.
Yeah.
I don't know how you expect to win when that happens. I love Keon Coleman.
Mm-hmm.
The center killed Seattle. Were you tuned into this one?
Not really. This is one of the games I said I got no watch time out of me.
Okay.
I thought it was gonna be a good game, and the way it started, I was like, yeah, I'm out.
I think this game was started like 3-3 or something like that, and the Seahawks had the ball.
I think it was 7-3.
Something like that. It was a close game though, and the Seahawks had the ball on like the 12-yard line. Mm-hmm. And it's raining. It's pouring down rain. Yep. And the center snaps at like 30 feet over Geno's head.
Yeah, I did see.
It's absolutely terrible.
Mm-hmm.
And they have to settle for a field goal on that drive. And then later on in that drive, they're going again, 4th and 1, and they decide to go for it. And the center just steps back and steps on Geno's foot and literally sacks him himself.
Yeah, I saw that as well. Yeah. Yeah, like I've been saying all season, if Geno isn't amazing, the Seahawks are just not going to win. Geno just has to play the perfect game, and it sucks to say that because he's been damn good this season. But if Geno isn't A++, the Seahawks aren't winning the game. And forget not winning the game. The game is not going to be close if Geno isn't perfect because the defense is going to let up a lot of points. And like you said, he didn't have DK, so it made life a lot harder for him. But my goodness, man, if Geno isn't phenomenal, this team just doesn't have a chance.
And it's sad because you still have Kenny Walker and you still have Zach Charbonnet, who's supposed to be a good duo at running back, and you still have Noah Fant, who's supposed to be a decent little tight end, and he looked good last week, but no DK, and the whole world falls apart, man. Yeah. Like I get Geno looking a little worse because he's not there, but JSN was up in the receiver 1 role, and he still had a good game, but everybody after him just can't do nothing. Can't do anything. Bad grammar on my part. My fault. I like Jay Bobo. I expected him to have a little step up, but he ain't do nothing. I was just disappointed in this game.
But yeah, the Bills look good again. James Cook did his thing. They didn't need Amari Cooper at all in this game. It was all Khalil Shakur and Keon Coleman. But yeah, James Cook did his thing. Josh Allen did his thing. The Bills are, like I said, the Bills probably don't have to play their starters past week 12. That's how much they're ahead in the AFC East. That division is awful, and they're the only playoff team coming out of the division. Go ahead.
I fell in love with Josh Allen watching Stephon Diggs, right? He's one of my favorite quarterbacks in the league because I just watched him a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why I even had to preference that. That has nothing to do with what I wanted to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Amari Cooper wearing 18 is so ugly.
Yeah, it is.
I need.
It is.
If he's still there next season, he has to change that number. He has to change it, please.
Yeah. It definitely is. Even 19 always looked weird to me when he was in Dallas. Even 19 looked weird. So I really don't know. He's just got to find a number. So what was he? I liked him in 2
on him.
Yeah. I liked him in Cleveland with 2, but everywhere he's at, he has a new number. Because I think what was he, 89 with the Raiders? I can look it up, but it really doesn't matter. I think he was 89 with the Raiders, 19 with the Cowboys, 2 with the.
Every time he catches a pass, it's cool,
which I love.
Makes me smile.
Yeah,
it makes me smile every time.
Yeah. But
we can go to one of the most exciting finishes of the
Absolutely. Go ahead.
I don't know why I haven't said one of the. It was the most exciting finish of the week.
Yeah.
The Bears lose in Washington to the Commanders, 15-18. They were up 15-12 with 3 seconds left, something like that. And the Commanders have to go for a Hail Mary, and they get to Jaden, and he just scrambling around out there, and he heaves it. And remember, he got them weak ass ribs. He wasn't even supposed to really play, and he throws it 60 yards with ease on the run. The guy is so good, man. And you see Tyreek Stevenson over there taunting the fans,
and he's
just not even in the play.
Yep. He's the one that tips it, and Noah Brown catches it, man. I was literally on the phone with my brother, and I screamed, and I was a little ahead of him, so he was like, "What just happened?" But I screamed when this happened. I was like, "No fucking way," because he played it perfectly. That's exactly how you're supposed to play
exactly what I said.
A Hail Mary, because you sit behind the pile, you hope someone tips it up to you, and it worked out perfectly. Like, he literally played it perfect. So it was a storybook ending for the Commanders. Even you had everybody running off the sidelines, head coach throwing the headset off, screaming, Dan Quinn. It was a great win for the Commanders. And what I will say, the Commanders defense, man, for as
it's a real deal.
Not good as it was supposed to be, it wasn't supposed to be
this real deal
unit. Other than the Bengals, who put up 33, that was a shootout game, and the Ravens, who put up 30 on them, they've let up 18, 13, 15, 7. In the last 2 weeks, they've only let up 22 points. Week 1, they let up 37, I will say, but they had a game 18, 14, 7, 15, 13. So when their defense has needed them at times in this season, they've definitely stepped up and given them the stops they needed. The red zone offense wasn't great in this game. Zach Ertz
they got killed by Swift, though. As good as their
Mm-hmm.
defense is, they did get killed by Swift in this game.
But they're talking about their defense. They did a very, very good job with Caleb Williams this game. They got Caleb Williams off of his spots. They made Caleb Williams uncomfortable in the pocket. Through the first 3 quarters, it took 3 quarters for the Bears to get to 100 yards of offense. 3 quarters for them to get to 100 yards of offense. They only put up 15 points in this game. The Commanders did an amazing job on Caleb this game. And for a guy who I was saying week by week he was getting better and better and better, for them to play this well against them and make him play as poor as he did was a very, very good showing from the Commanders defense.
I said it a couple weeks ago, and I will say it for as long as they're together. Any quarterback that gives Terry McLaurin the ball has a spot in my heart.
And you saw Terry come up to him in the post-game interview, and yeah.
He's so good, man. Makes me happy. There's not a lot to say about this game, as good as it was of a game, because there wasn't really much to go on until the fourth quarter. And really, they shouldn't have even lost this game. But
no.
That's how football goes.
What I will say, I hate the okay, we're up by whatever, the team has 20 seconds left, so we're just gonna play this super off defense and give them a shot at the Hail Mary. Because you allow we're gonna allow the 15-yard completion, and then next you allow a 20-yard completion, and next thing you know, the offense is at the 45-yard line, and they just gotta throw a 50-yard pass at a shot at the end zone. But if you play defense straight up, you don't even allow those completions prior, and all they have to do is just a bunch of laterals and hope they can get down the field. Every team does it, and I hate it so much. Everybody just goes into this pre-vet defense. We're just not going to allow anything over the top. And they always just give up the 15-yarder, then the 20-yarder, then another 20. And then the next thing you know, the offense is in scoring position. Go ahead, though.
Do you remember the end of the Vikings-Lions game?
The Vikings-Lions game? Why do you ask?
The Vikings have a chance to throw a Hail Mary with like 2 seconds left. Every other team in the league would drop back into prevent like we saw here.
Mm-hmm.
The Lions don't do so. They blitz Sam Darnold, and they get to Sam Darnold. And
we didn't talk about it in the Texans game, but the Texans had a really nice play on it. And DeMeco Ryans being a defensive guy, it doesn't surprise me. The Anthony Richardson, the Colts went for a Hail Mary to end the game. Anthony Richardson rolled out right, but what the Texans did, they loaded the left side. I think they rushed like 3 or 4, but they loaded every single pass rusher on the left side. So you just know at least one of them are going to get through. And I forget who ended up getting the sack, but they got to Anthony Richardson because they played the Hail Mary perfect. Yeah, you have everybody back there in prevent, but you just have your defensive linemen load up all on one side. So it's only 2 people there, the left tackle, the right tackle, and the right guard, trying to block 4 people. So they eventually got through, and Anthony Richardson didn't even get a throw off. So yeah, they did a really good job there. But yeah. We can move on.
I know this game hurt Montez Sweat.
What's that?
I know this game hurt Montez Sweat.
Why you say that? Oh, a former team, yeah. I was like, what are you guys saying that for?
He had a quote a couple weeks ago or last week, whenever it was. He was like, "Yeah, it feels nice to have a team that finally wants me."
Yeah, and
here he is losing.
Yeah, Tyreek Stevenson, man. That I was when I seen that clip, I was just like, "There's no." And for him to be the one that tips it to Noah Brown, it's just you couldn't have written it better, bro. You couldn't have written it better. But moving on to another game that we don't have to say much about. The Chiefs moved to 7-0. They beat the Las Vegas Raiders 27-20. You can go ahead if you would like.
Can we just say shout out Pat Mahomes, shout out Kareem Hunt, shout out Travis Kelce, shout out Max Crosby, and then move on?
Moving on.
Cool.
Panthers at Broncos. The Broncos moved to 5-3. The Panthers fall to 1-7. The Broncos beat the Panthers 28-14. Bo Nix has himself a day. Do you want to talk about your favorite quarterback in the league?
Can I talk about the other side?
Oh. Sorry, go ahead.
Andy Dalton gets in his car crash. Bryce Young comes out and is the starter. And yeah, Bryce Young was bad. But he wasn't the bad that we used to see from Bryce Young. I believe he showed some flashes of competence. He didn't have Deontay Johnson, who has been the best receiver for Andy Dalton. Chuba Hubbard had. I told you.
I was gonna say we were talking about it. We were talking about it.
Chuba Hubbard hates Bryce Young, bro.
Chuba Hubbard was phenomenal when Andy Dalton was in, and now Bryce Young is back, and now he's just back to this shitty version of himself. But God,
I refuse to believe he doesn't hate Bryce Young's guts. You can't tell me otherwise. And the leading receiver was Jalen Coker.
Yeah.
Tell me what quarterback's going to go over there and succeed. Yeah, Andy Dalton got him 1 win. Andy Dalton's looked like shit since. Please don't. I'm sorry this is the way Andy Dalton loses his job, but please don't go back to him. Xavier Legette looked good in a couple catches he had. Keep him as your little receiver 1 until Deontay come back. You're going to be bad. Just accept the badness. There's nothing to talk about in high regards on this Panthers team. I will pick against them every single week, no matter who they play.
Absolutely.
They could play the 4th grade team from my where I went to school, and I would pick the 4th grade team.
What I will say, Bo Nix had one of his best games of his young career, but what really jumps out for Bo Nix is his confidence, bro. It doesn't matter what happens with Bo Nix. It doesn't matter how shitty he played the week before, how shitty of a throw he made prior. He's going to go into the next play thinking he's just the fucking man, the greatest. And he plays with such great confidence. Like you saw it when he was when Sean Payton was screaming at him on the sideline. And he just didn't give a fuck. He was yelling back and then just walked away from him. He just didn't care. So I just love that out of a young guy. But this is where their schedule really starts to get going. So we're really going to know how good Bo Nix and this Broncos team is, because they're 5-3. But moving forward, they got a gauntlet. They got the Ravens, the Chiefs, than the
Loss.
Falcons.
They could win that one.
They got Ravens, Chiefs, Falcons, and later on in the season, you got Chiefs again. You got Broncos. Or no, I said Broncos. You got Chargers. You got the Browns with Jameis now, depending on how good he'll look, and you got the Colts as well. And you got the Raiders thrown in there. So we're really gonna see how good Bo Nix and the Broncos are. Their defense has been very underrated this season. I didn't think it was gonna be this good, but they've played very well at times in this season. But yeah, man, Bo Nix, I love what I'm seeing from him. You know, I said it like last week, I think it was, if he can just stop having happy feet in the pocket, just settle down and just make the throws with confidence, he'll be just
and that'll
fine,
come with
time.
That'll come once he gets some more snaps with his offensive line. Absolutely. Or a better offensive line comes over there. Well, the only thing I really care about saying with the Broncos is Devontae Williams, you got to be better. And Troy Franklin, you got to be better. I liked Troy Franklin a lot coming out of this draft. And he just drops a lot of passes. Unacceptable amount of passes that are just right in the breadbasket. Bo Nix makes a beautiful play, and it's like, ooh, and there's a drop pass by Troy Franklin. But let me bounce back to the Panthers real quick before we move on. It was 3rd and 14. It's 5 out. Bryce Young's the only one in the backfield, and every single receiver runs a slant. 3rd and 14. All 5 run a slant, Herlins. I'm not over-exaggerating. Far left, couple steps in. Guy next to him, couple steps in. And you get like 4 yards. You're all running slants. Dave Canales, what are we doing, bro? I defended you. I said when you got that win with Dalton, I said you deserved it because you were a good coach. You're not. You got to figure something out, man. I can't. Bryce Young, yes, he's a bad quarterback, but he's not as bad as the world is making him look. And I don't want to talk about him anymore. It makes me sad. Not even sad, it just fucking pisses me off.
Moving on to Sunday Night Football. The Cowboys...
2017 All-Stars.
The Cowboys went into Santa Clara and lost to the Niners 30-24. Your old, washed-up favorite running backs couldn't get it done. The Niners get right before their bye week, and the Cowboys look terrible coming out of their bye week. But my biggest takeaway from this game is George Kittle is the best tight end in football. I don't think it's up for debate. George Kittle has been our bright spot on the offense. He's been the most consistent player in the offense this season. I think he's top 15 in receiving yards. I think he has 500 receiving yards on the season. I think he's up to like 6 touchdowns or something like that. George Kittle is playing his ass off. Brock had himself a solid game, especially in the second half. It was a lot like the Lions NFC Championship game. Brock came out in the second half and just got going with his legs. That's really what won us this game. Brock came out and I think had like 59 rushing yards in the second half or something like that. That was really the determining factor. He was able to get it going on the ground. Jordan Mason got hurt again, re-aggravated his shoulder, the AC joint or whatever. But Isaac Arendo stepped in very nicely for him and had himself a game. Had his first career touchdown.
Watch your voice. Plug might start threatening people again.
Yeah, I'm not even gonna talk about that on here because we'll get our channel terminated. But the Cowboys kind of made it interesting down the stretch. Dak Prescott is the king of garbage time yards and garbage time stats.
Yeah, there we go.
When the game is over, Dak is just gonna look like the greatest quarterback of all time. But shout out to Ricky. He was filling in for BAB out for the season. Now Ricky looks solid in this game. But what I will say, Diamador Lenore. Why'd you make that face?
No face.
Diamador Lenore, I've been saying it all season. He's been playing his ass off. We had an all-pro corner last year in Tarvarius Ward, but Demo has been our best cornerback this season. He's playing like a Pro Bowler. He deserves to be in the Pro Bowler. In the Pro Bowl. He had an interception on the sideline late in this game. I think it was like in the third quarter. He picked off Dak Prescott. He's been playing his absolute ass off, man. He's going to get paid this offseason. Hopefully it's by us, but I just want to give him a shout. This was Devondre Campbell's best game of the season, and it's primarily because there's nobody in that backfield that he had to be worried about. There's no super fast guy in that backfield. It's Zeke and Dalvin Cook, 2 guys that are slower, so he didn't have to run sideline to sideline with other guys. So he had himself his best game of the season. Nick Bosa did his thing. He got in there, had a sack. Fred Warner was Fred Warner as always. It was a good bounce back win from the Niners. I'm not gonna say we're back or anything like that, but I'm doing it again, aren't I? I'm making the Niners segment the longest segment of the fucking show, but I'm not gonna say we're back or anything like that. But we'll see how it looks when Christian McCaffrey and Dre Greenlaw come back and we get a little more healthy. We'll see where we stack up in the NFC. But this is a good win going into the bye, and yeah, go ahead.
You actually didn't talk about them for too long. I think that was a good amount of time. It usually hits about 27 minutes before you realize you should stop talking about them so much. I would like to say that Dalvin Cook is officially cooked. He
I don't know why it takes so long to notice.
Was bad. Love him, but just announced the retirement, brother. Ezekiel Elliott deserved more carries.
Continue.
That's all.
Oh, okay.
And I will never allow you to talk about politics on this podcast.
No. Thank you for bringing that up because I almost forgot.
That is bullshit, bro.
Nick Bosa, I love you, Nick Bosa, and this has nothing to do with what the hat he was wearing, whether it was a Trump or Kamala hat. It wasn't about what the hat was. It's just you don't do that. You have 3 of your teammates. Now, what if they're not fucking voting for fucking... I don't even want to bring it up. What if they're not voting for him, and now they're just in a fucking screenshot with you with a fucking hat that says "Make America Great Again"?
And he's pointing to
it like this. You can see George Kittle look off to the side and kind of give like a laugh, but he's really like, "What the fuck? Like, what are you doing?" You don't want to make you shouldn't be making this about just stick to football. Just keep it to football, please. It was just a bad look. It was just it just was awkward. It was just weird. For him, it would be one thing if he was part of the interview, but he just ran into the interview, pointed at the hat, and ran off. It was really weird.
And it's not like this surprises anybody, Nick. We know exactly who you are.
Exactly. We know who you're voting for. We know who you support. It was weird. It was awkward. I didn't like it. I did not like it. Yeah.
Don't do that shit again.
No.
Do not do that shit again.
I'm so glad you brought that up because I almost forgot. But
I'm so disappointed in it.
No, yeah, it was just it's just because like I said, what if your teammates don't fucking want to vote for him and they're just in a screenshot in a video with you pointing to a fucking "Make America Great Again" hat and they just look like it's like, what the fuck? You're just throwing your teammates under the bus to just show everybody who you're voting for when the world already knew who you endorse. We know who you.
And like we said, we don't care if it was a Kanye hat. We don't give a fuck.
It's not about who it was.
Politics.
Yeah. And if you're gonna do that, go to the podium with that hat on, not a post game interview where 3 of your teammates are sitting there.
And then he went to the podium with his tail between his legs and was like, nah. It's some bullshit, bro.
It was
straight bullshit.
And I love Nick Bosa, but it was just so weird. But we can move on to Sunday Night Football. The Pittsburgh Steelers.
No, we just talked about that. We can move on to Monday Night Football.
Monday Night Football, sorry. The Pittsburgh Steelers moved to 6-2, leading the AFC North. They beat the Giants 26-18. You had a lot of stuff to say about Daniel Jones earlier. If you would like to continue that, go ahead. Be my guest.
I don't want to. Daniel Jones, I like you. I have supported you your whole career.
Mm-hmm.
If we would have filmed this as soon as the game ended, wow, I would have had some stuff on here that I'm glad I'm not going to end up saying.
Mm-hmm.
But when you have a guy as talented as Malik Neighbors and you're force-feeding Darius Slayton, it's like LeBron passing to Matthew Dellavedova instead of Steph Curry. And it's what are we doing here, the big dog? And he has to... So the issue with Daniel Jones is he doesn't trust his instinct anymore. Coming into the league in his first couple of years, he threw so many picks because, and now he gets to the point where he has to see a route fully developed for him to trust it. You saw it was. You saw it was Slayton on the left sideline at one point. He wanted to see Slayton get completely open. If he throws it early, he throws a laser. It's a first down, and it's a big first down. But no, he wants to wait and then throw it high. And Slayton got rocked, dude, and it took him a while to step up. And then on the other side, throw the damn ball away. You don't have to get sacked as much as he does. Yeah, the line isn't phenomenal, but he tries to roll out and make a play. Just throw the ball away so it's 2nd and 10 instead of 2nd and 20.
Yeah, the defensive line held up for a little bit, but eventually TJ Watt and Alex Highsmith just had enough, and they just got after him. It was like back-to-back plays. They had a sack.
Alex Highsmith was phenomenal. Chris Hubbard got his first snaps at left tackle for the Giants, and you could tell because Alex Highsmith was just bulldozing him.
Mm-hmm.
Tyrone Tracy is a hell of a player.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate that he landed, hit his head on the grass. He probably has a concussion. I wouldn't be surprised if he misses next week.
Mm-hmm.
Devin Singletary, man, I like the guy coming into the season. He ain't been on shit since he got hurt. They realized how good Tyrone was and just kept it pushing. Please give Malik Neighbors the ball. On the other side, Najee Harris is a fucking freak, bro. You hate him for whatever reason, and I don't care if you... No, this is the guy you can't even say you don't hate because you fucking slandered the shit. I just spit everywhere.
I don't hate
but
anybody.
You slandered...
I don't hate any NFL player. Continue, though. I don't hate him. I just don't like him. That doesn't mean I hate him, though. I just don't think he's that great.
Hate is a strong word type shit. All right, Grandma. Russell Wilson, he loves himself a deep ball. He's getting his receivers way more involved than Justin Fields ever did. Calvin Austin had one of the best games of his career. He had the punt return for a touchdown. That's all I want to say. I don't want to talk about it.
And I sound like I'm dejected saying that Russell Wilson is playing his ass off right now because he's playing very well. He's getting the ball going down the field, but
you can't go back to Justin.
You can't. Russ these 2 games has played his ass off. The ability for him to get the ball going down the field is what this Steelers team needed.
And it makes me happy though that Justin's not just neglected. Like every time you see him, he's on the bench with Russ, like learning.
With the tablet, literally, Russ is sitting right next to him. Yeah, sitting right next to him with the tablet. He still has the face, the eye black on, as if he was gonna play. He's sitting there ready.
I mean, he was third string today.
Yeah, it sucks to see, but his spirits. He's been a great teammate, not pouting. He's right there dapping up Russ when he comes to the sideline. So. But yeah, you just can't go back to Justin after what Russ has done these past 2 games. Maybe later in the season, if Russ just cools down, maybe you can think about going to Justin. You give him a few snaps. But Russ is playing his ass off. The connection with him and George Pickens is looking elite. That throw he had to George Pickens down the left sideline, my goodness. What a throw, what a catch. No. It wasn't a touchdown. No, it wasn't a touchdown. But it was an amazing throw and an amazing catch. The Steelers special teams again. They had
he didn't have a touchdown.
No, they had the punt return. Who was it? Calvin Austin had the punt return.
Yeah, I just said
he also had I didn't even hear that. He also had a receiving touchdown, but yeah. Not much really else to say. Shout out to the Steelers moving to 6-2 first in the AFC North.
I can't say I saw something in this game that I don't know if I've ever seen before. George Pickens got a foot down twice, and it wasn't a touchdown because he got the same foot down twice.
That's funny. But before we get out of here, as always, we got to do your top 10.
Oh, shit.
Quarterbacks. You almost forgot. Your top 10 quarterbacks, man. Go ahead.
So last week, just to remind anybody that might not have watched, I had CJ at 10, Brock at 9, Geno at 8, Goff at 7, Baker at 6, Darnold at 5, Jaden Daniels at 4, Josh Allen at 3, Joe Burrow at 2, and Lamar at 1. And this week hasn't changed a lot. The top guys are still the top guys. Sam Darnold, you better figure it out because you're going to fall out of the top 5 very soon. But coming in at 10, we got a repeat, Kirk Cousins. Not a repeat, but a reappearance, Kirk Cousins.
Mm-hmm. So before you move on into the list, before we started, I think you said a couple quarterbacks fell out. Would you like to say who fell out of the list this week?
No, I'll finish with that. We can get a list in this.
Okay.
Brock Purdy is the only guy that fell out. He's the only one in the top that was in the top 10 last week that's not there now. Pat Mahomes fell out last week. He could definitely still be in the top 10, but he hasn't been great this year, and I'm not going to reward him for just being Pat Mahomes.
And I like the Kirk Cousins pick. I think I was calling for Kirk Cousins a few weeks ago, but I love to see him on the list. He's been playing his ass off. He's been putting up crazy numbers. I had stats on him against the Bucs. He has more touchdowns against the Bucs this season than he does any other game combined this season. He has torched the Bucs in the 2 games he's played. He's played against him, so I love to see Kirk on the list, my guy. Even though you were a hater, but go ahead. Whereas
number 9,
yeah,
I
so
could
he
see
has
him falling.
8 touchdowns against the Bucs this season and 6 in the other 6 games. Go ahead.
That's impressive. I can see number 9 falling out before I could see Kirk falling out. Geno Smith without DK didn't look great, but at number 9 I have Geno Smith.
I don't hate it. Me personally, I think I would have had. I would have had Kirk at 9, Brock at 10, Geno out of the list. But it's not too big of a deal.
I didn't want to hinder Geno too much for missing his top guy this week because he's had a good season, and most people making the list wouldn't have Geno top 10.
His top guy, his second guy, his third guy, his fourth guy, his fifth guy, his best running back, his second best running back, his third best running. Oh, no, I'm bullshitting. Continue.
I said I
continue. I was joking.
This week. At number 8, I have a guy that literally didn't do a fucking thing this week. Jared Goff.
And not because he was bad, because he just didn't have to. He still had 3 touchdowns, but only had 85 yards because they put up 1,000,000 points on the Titans. Go ahead.
At number 7, CJ Stroud moves back up.
I think I'd have Jared Goff over CJ Stroud, but I'm not mad at it. It's one spot difference.
Goff is
deal. He just didn't
do anything, bro.
Again, that's not his fault. They just whooped ass.
No. At number 6, I have Baker, and at number 5, I have Sam Darnold. Both of those are the exact same. Those might have to change here soon, but they've both been.
Because I would have Jared Goff above the both of them. Now that you said CJ Stroud, fine, but hearing Sam Darnold and Baker, I think Jared Goff should. So you had Jared Goff at 8, right? And you had Sam Darnold at 5. I think Jared Goff should leapfrog all 3 quarterbacks you just named in front of him. Legitimately, all 3. I think he should be.
I can't argue.
Jared Goff, I think, is top 3 for MVP right now. Him, Josh Allen, and Lamar are the 3 probably favorites for MVP. He's playing his ass off, and I think you can't penalize him too much for. He did what they asked of him this week. If they needed him to go out there and put up 303 touchdowns, he would have done it. He just didn't have to.
He just started slow. That's the reason he's still low. And last week he was 7, so it's not like he got penalized for being bad. Like, he wasn't bad. He just didn't do anything like we've been saying. 4, we see Josh Allen go back to 4.
I like it. I like it. So I'm trying to think top 3. I think I know Burrow's gonna come up next probably. I think Josh Allen should move over Burrow. I think Josh Allen. Yeah, I think the top 3 should be in whatever order you have: Lamar, Jaden Daniels, and Josh Allen. And then
interesting.
I'm gonna say my top 5. I think it should be Lamar in no order. I think it should be Lamar, Jaden Daniels, Josh Allen, Joe Burrow, and Jared Goff. I think that should be the top 5.
I got Jaden Daniels at 3.
Okay. He was number 2
Joe
last
Burrow
week, wasn't he? Jaden Daniels. So Jaden
Daniels was 4 last week.
He was 4. So what was
he
your
didn't
top
play
3
last week.
What was your top 3 last week?
Lamar, Joe, Josh.
Okay. I don't know why I thought Jaden was second. So number 2.
He was second the week before.
Okay. But yeah. And then
so week 6 he was second. And then he didn't play, so he fell to 4. The top 4, the 2nd through 4, you could interchange them, and I can't say you're wrong. As long as you got Lamar first, and then Jaden, Joe, and Josh 2, 3, and 4, you got a good list.
Yeah, I don't hate it. The biggest problem I have with the list is definitely Jared Goff, though. I think Jared Goff should be a lot higher. I think he should be in the top 5, comfortably in the top 5. But
fair enough.
I think that wraps things up. We're at over an hour and a half. Unless you don't have anything else you would like to add. I don't know what I'd like to say.
We suck, bro.
We suck. We did. And I thought about it at the start, but then one of us went on about something and I completely forgot. So I'm good. When I watch this back, if one of us went on a rant about something and I think we went into fantasy football. I think that's what it was, and I just completely forgot. Cause I think that's what it was. You asked me how, but we suck. But if you're here now, just go down and leave a comment, sub if you're not. We're up to 55 subs, I think. Go over to the TikTok, show some love over there. Smallz, if there's anything I'm forgetting, anything you would like to add, go ahead.
Ain't got nothing to add. Love y'all. Appreciate y'all for watching. I don't know how many we got still watching this far in, but
We'll
we
see you
appreciate all
guys
y'all.
on Friday.
Deuces.